Happy Sunday, D-backs fans. Welcome on into another episode here of D-backs Dispatches. We're here to talk about a very exciting series win over the Milwaukee Brewers. Definitely did not look that way to start off on Friday, but we'll dive into that a little bit more here once we get into discussing these games. But if this is your first time in here joining us in the chat, welcome on in. I am Brett. Gabe to your left, Brandon to your right. We appreciate you guys on joining us. I know our man Josh, who's usually behind the ones and twos, I believe is going to Spain or is at least on his way to Spain. So he's going to be enjoying a little bit of vacation with the family. So hopefully Josh is enjoying that. But we appreciate you guys tuning on in here. If this is your first time, like, comment, subscribe. It really does help out the algorithm and all that. Check us out on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that. A bunch of banger memes, especially on Twitter. Gabe is always cooking up something good. Follow us go join our Discord. It's free. It's in the description below. And again, you don't have to pay anything. Join a D-backs community of amazing fans. And then also make sure you guys check out everything over on the azsnakepit.com. Because they have a ton of great content over there daily. Especially we're getting some more series recaps going on and whatnot. Before we get into things, I want to shout out everybody that's already in the chat with us. Corbin Barrels, MVP King, love to see you in here. Let's go indeed. Jackson 2023 woo. I echo that woo as well. Not the pitcher for the Mariners, but maybe a little nature boy woo. And then Tanner coming in here saying huge series win. Fully agree with you guys. But like I said, we are here to talk about a D-backs series that ended off great, but things did not start off so well. So we'll just kind of jump in here. Friday night, game one against the Milwaukee Brewers. Eduardo Rodriguez went up there against, it was to be announced. And like 3 hours before game time, the Brewers decided it was going to be Jose Quintana. And I guess the D-backs did not have anything on him at all because they lost this game 7-0. Offense just looked absolutely dead. They were shut out for the first time this season. They went 4 for 29 as a team with 1 walk and 5 strikeouts. Erod was pretty solid in this game. Got hit around a little bit, but he was still really efficient and looking great progress so far, especially after his 12 strikeout game. Not as many strikeouts, but still went a little bit further. Went 6 1/3, gave up 6 hits, 3 runs. Only 2 of them were earned. 2 walks, 3 strikeouts on 95 pitches, and with 62 of them being strikes. His ERA is now down to 4.98, so that's really good to see from him. The D-backs only had 1 runner reach second base all game, and that was just because with Corbin Carroll on first base, the Brewers balked. I believe it was Quintana in the 7th inning, so Corbin went on over to second base. Obviously didn't come around to score because they got shut out. The offense, any bit of motion that they had, and especially in the first 2 innings, were immediately nulled as there were 2 first-inning double plays. And the offense just, again, didn't really get anything else going the rest of the way there. But going to the 9th inning, it was a 3-0 game. And Joe Mantiply was left in after getting the final out in the 8th inning. He went to the 9th and gave up 4. So this game basically got super out of reach, went from being at least a manageable game to, pack it up, just go home, punt on to the next one. His ERA on the season now up to 12.71 in just 5 2/3, a little more on Joe Mantiply in a minute here. But getting into topic 1 here of game 1, obviously it was not really a fun one. I know a lot of us that were probably watching at home, especially, I don't know about Brandon, but I got home, was booting up MLB The Show, watching or getting some of the new content grind in, and tuned into this game. And it was just a very depressing game to watch. Maybe not depressing. It was just a very boring game to watch generally from the D-back side. Like I said, the offense only had 1 runner reach second base all game, and that was thanks to the Brewers' balk in the 7th. And then Gurriel, Gino, Moreno, McCarthy, and Hampson combined to go 2 for 14. So again, only 4 hits total in the game. Corbin Carroll had 1 of them. I believe Domo might have had the other one. I probably mistake on that one. But the bottom 5 of the lineup, just a little more on them too later. Don't you worry. We'll talk about them a little bit more. But just in general, the offense just kind of struggled again. What were you guys seeing? Obviously, same question to you guys in the chat as well. What was it like kind of sticking out to you guys? Like, was it maybe their approach that they were struggling with? Was it, I know Brandon mentioned in the group chat, not knowing who the starting pitcher was, even until a couple hours before the game started? Do you think maybe just, the Brewers were doing a good job at, missing D-backs bats? Like, what do you think kind of attributed to their struggles in this game overall and getting shut out for the first time in 2025?
So I think a part of it was just the fact that they had no approach. They kept swinging at the first pitch over and over again. Quintana went into the 7th with like 65, 70 pitches barely. So they're just swinging at the first pitch, and they would get a guy on, immediately swing at the first pitch, and then it would be a double play or get thrown out. Like, it was just terrible. They just didn't adjust at all. Like you would think, okay, second time through the order, you can maybe take a few pitches, and they just weren't. They weren't taking any pitches. They're swinging at the first and second pitch, just getting themselves out. And that 5 strikeouts lets you know that they were getting themselves out. It wasn't like Quintana was just blowing them away. It was literally just at first pitch, bunch of soft contact. They were just showing no signs of life. And I think I don't know. Like I know Brandon mentioned, like that they announced him a few hours early, or a few hours late, I guess, before they actually knew. But even then, I'm like, there's enough tape on Quintana for you to come up with some sort of game plan that isn't swing at the first pitch and just like take 2 pitches. I don't know, like how hard is that compared to taking 1 pitch? But yeah, I think that I was really frustrated with that. I was at the game, and then also just the fact that after an off day, this team just looked completely lost, just unprepared, and they lose every single time they come off of a day off. So tomorrow they have a day off. You can almost count Tuesday that they're going to lose it as well. So I don't know what it is about the preparedness or what it is like with how many days Torrey's giving these guys off. Like you would think they'd be a little bit more prepared after an off day, but they're just not. So I don't know what it is about with Torrey and the training staff that they got to get on these guys to be prepared and ready to swing and to play a game. Like you can't just keep dropping the first games of the series like this because you can't sweep, and you need sweeps if you're going to be able to make any real ground. Like taking the series is great, and I'm happy they took the series, but that's only one game that they go up at a time. So you play 2 series, you go up two games up in the standings instead of 3, 4, 5, 6 that you could have gotten with the sweep. But yeah, it's overall just super messy, and just this team just did not look very good, especially that lower half of the lineup. And yeah, it's just I don't know. There's something about their preparedness that they just lack some sort of preparation the days after off days.
Yeah, it is a little frustrating how it seems like after every off day, they just, kind of come out maybe a little bit low energy. Not sure if, again, maybe it's just the other team is doing their job, getting them out. But it is a little frustrating to see them, not be able to continually, stack up wins, especially the NL. The Padres are at 13 wins. The Giants are insanely hot. I think they're at 11 or 12 wins. The Dodgers lost to the Cubs today, who have, I think, 12 wins now, or 11 wins now in the Cubs. So the NL is going to be a dogfight all year, especially in the NL West. So I do agree with you. Do need to start turning around on here in game one, because if you can win game one, you can at least salvage one, and then try to build your way towards a sweep. But Brandon, same thing to you. What is it that kind of stuck out to you? I know, like, Gabe said he was there in that one. I know you were at the Friday night game as well. What kind of stood out to you?
I
Oh, you
wasn't.
weren't? Oh, okay. You're at the
Nope,
Saturday
it was
one.
just
Okay.
Yeah, it was just Saturday.
Well, either way, whether since I guess we're probably watching at home along with me and even probably some other people here in the chat, or if you're listening again on the outside after we're live, appreciate you. But what kind of stuck out to you? Whether there was their approach, swing early in counts, not really putting up good at bats, not making Quintana work, and actually I believe now this Quintana has beat every single team in the MLB, so. He's just been able to check a little thing off of his board. But what kind of stuck out to you from the D-backs approach and lack of offense there in game one in that 7-0 shutout?
I don't think they had one because they didn't. So the Brewers did not activate Quintana from. Sorry, not. They didn't recall him from AAA until, or it wasn't announced until like 2.5 hours before first pitch. So I don't know if they had a temporary game plan or if they had any inkling that Quintana was going to be the guy, but it very early on, it looked like it was just like swinging first pitch, just swinging out of their shoes. The first 2 innings, we got runners on, double play just killed the momentum. Those first 2 innings, like it was frustrating, to say for sure. Like by the 4th inning, you should see, oh, this isn't working. Let's take a few pitches. Let's see what he's throwing out there. But they just didn't. The only hits in this game were Domo, Carroll, Lourdes, and then Jake McCarthy. So if you want to take a positive from this, it's Jake's finally starting to hit. So take that what you will. But outside of, I'm probably 4 players right now, this offense is ice cold. Outside of Domo, Carroll, Naylor, and Pavin, if you like, I think that's it. Everyone else, like Lourdes is playing, just cannot hit right now. Gino, like Yeah, Gino had a great first series with all the homers, but since then hasn't done anything. Like he got his first non-extra base hit of the season today on Sunday. So the one person that I'm like a little confused on because of how well he was hitting the ball in spring is Gabby. Like there's like I don't know if it's a mindset thing with him that season has started or it's a whole Tori isn't allowing him to get into a rhythm because he literally like sits him like every third game. Like I was talking to some people at the game yesterday. I'm like, I bet you Gabby doesn't start Sunday because he doesn't like he's just trying to do that slow rollout with him. So we have another off day tomorrow. They don't play on Monday. They have a cross country road trip in Miami. I'm worried that they're gonna lose that first game. Like that is what worries me.
Also play horribly in Miami.
Yeah, like if you're a betting person, I might take Miami on Tuesday. It's just it is frustrating. Like I know it's early, but like Padres have not lost at home. They've won every game they played at home. They just shut out the Rockies for the entire series. It's the Rockies. Take that what you will. But that's still really impressive to shut down a major league team for an entire weekend. So I'm hoping the bats, like outside of Carroll, Domo, Naylor, and Pavin, I hope some of these guys start hitting well, because it's making these games feel so much shorter.
It really is.
Yeah, and I think you hit some key points. It's just that bottom of the lineup is just not producing at all, and I think that's just kind of the issue. Like people are worried about with Cattell being down. Like, oh, what is the top half? I don't think people need to worry about the top half. It's the bottom half because if Cattell isn't there at number 2 and 1, then that means Perdomo isn't there at the bottom of the lineup to take walks. That's what he does. He takes his walks. He rolls the lineup over. So either Cattell or Corbin are the ones who bring him in. Like he just scores so many runs. And right now, this is what they don't have. They don't have run production. And, especially in this game, again, want to let people know we're talking about the first game. We're not talking about the rest of the series. But
game one.
The first game, not being able to score, we're getting some guys on and just not being able to produce. And then maybe we can get into it later too. But Pavin in the 3-hole, like I know he had the garbage time home run off of a guy with an 80 RA on Wednesday, but just not a 3-hole hitter. He's had 3 RBI there and 27 at bats, which is not great when you're looking for run production. I know this whole lineup isn't doing the best, but I mean we have Naylor. He's been very good. He's been able to score runs as well and get in the RBI. And it's just overall this lineup is just not clicking the way it should. And I don't know, man. Maybe we got to let Gabby play more than 2 games and then to take 2 games or 3 games in a row, and maybe put Alec out there. He's the only one doing anything in the outfield other than Corbin Carroll. He's the second best outfielder right now, and we got Lawler going 3 for 4 every day with a whole bunch.
He's not coming. Just stop. He's not coming.
Yeah, but I mean that's just negligence if they don't bring him up.
Where are they gonna play him? Like they are not.
They have 2 players playing one position right now. Why not put Lawler there?
Because Cattell's coming back in probably about 2 weeks. And they said they are not bringing Lawler up unless he's staying there basically for the rest of his career. So they don't want to bring him up for like 2 weeks. So, like if Cattell,
you would rather have him down there for an entire month with 2 guys who don't play that well?
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I just know based on what they've said, I can understand why they have not brought him up.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the thing. I understand it. But I just think it's dumb. I think it's wrong that they don't bring him up. I mean, you could give him 1 month in this, at second base every single day, but instead they're having Hampson and Tawa just kind of go back and forth, and both of them kind of do something, but not really.
Yeah, we will definitely talk a little bit more, especially about the bottom half of the lineup. A little bit later in the show because there are some stats that I went through and I got that are not the most inspiring stats. And even the thing about Pavin Smith, I know we've been kind of talking about him in the 3-hole. I am looking at Fangraphs right now, so we'll save that for a little bit later because I know Gabe, especially today at the game, talk or the conversation about him in 3-hole or just in general with runners in scoring position as a hitter was something that you were kind of hitting on in the group chat. So we'll save that for game 3 when we get to it. But it's definitely gonna be a long one. So I feel like we're definitely gonna be a little more spirited in it. If you think that the short little conversation about Lawler was Spirited, you have not seen Spirited yet, because we will get a little bit more probably energetic into it, but which will be more energy than we saw from this D-backs offense in game 1. But topic 2 here of game 1, obviously 7-0 shutout. There wasn't really much to really look at, but it was unfortunate because even with the offense still struggling, a 3-run deficit is not something that we can't come back from. Like we even saw it, especially in game 2, they were down 4 runs and they came back. Even today, they put up a total of 5 runs in the final 4 innings of the game. So we know this offense, especially we've seen throughout the year, is kind of a, the answer backs. They put up runs late in the game. And unfortunately, the opportunity for them to try to come back there in the 9th inning in game 1 was pretty much squandered by Joe Mantiply, just not looking good at all. Joe Mantiply came in, like I said, he pitched an inning and a third, and he gave up 4 runs and it was ugly. It was he's still sitting at like 90 miles an hour on some of his pitches, so it's not like he's dropping major velo, but he's not good. Like that 9th inning started off with a single from Joey Ortiz, a single from Garrett Mitchell on a bunt to Joe Mantiply, which I believe even Gabe was talking about him not being able to defend that bunt just because how he falls off the mound. Then he hit Vinny Capra with a pitch. Bryce Terang single to make it 5-0. You got Churio to ground out, which is crazy because Churio's been insanely hot. Then Christian Yelich grounded out, made it 6-0. They left him in there. William Contreras singled, made it 7-0, and pretty much put the nail in the coffin for the D-backs. And again, he just his ERA sitting now at 12.71, just 5 2/3. I know, especially early in the season, bullpen guys aren't getting crazy amount of innings, but especially when you compare it to Jalen Beeks, which we'll talk a little bit more about him later. It's horrible. 12.71 ERA. He has been getting hit insanely hard. So my question to you, gentlemen, obviously everybody in the chat, which shout out you Red Sox Nation, Ryan Page, William Harold, all you guys just joining in. Appreciate you guys having us in there. So my question to all you two fellas and everybody in the chat is, with Jalen Beeks having a 0.87 ERA and 10 1/3, being, I'd say, now our most effective lefty, and Graven and Ginkel set to return from their injury issues not too far off in the future, is Mantiply running out of chances to prove his value to this D-backs bullpen?
I want to say yes, but I know Hayes and Torre just love him for some reason, even though he had one good season in half a good season in 2021. He hasn't been all that great since then, but I mean, Biggs has been very good. I mean, I don't know what the plan is for Biggs, or they're going to try to, keep him for the rest of the year, or if they're just using him the way they're using him right now because they're not expecting him to keep him. But with a guy like Graveman, who's been proven to be very, very good, same with Ginkgo, just a lot more velocity. I just checked up Mantiply's savant page. He's averaging 88 on that fastball. 88 is not good. Like, I don't know how you can look at 88 miles an hour and say, yeah, that's a guy who can
on a
get
fastball,
out,
sure.
Off of a fastball. I don't know how you can look at that and say, yeah, that guy gets a lot of major league out. And I know when you bring up like, hey, he hasn't looked good, there's people who are like, oh, well, you look at his expected this, expected that. I'm like, but they're still hitting them. They're doing really soft contact against them because that's kind of the game plan against him. You just have to bunt, and he can't defend the bunt because he just falls really awkwardly to third base line. So if you hit it anywhere near the first or even harder to that third base line, he's not going to get it, and nobody else is going to be able to defend it either. So, and then they had those runs come in because they had to bring in a nailer because they kept bunting against him because he's throwing 88 miles an hour. You don't bunt against like, it's hard to bunt a guy like, I don't know, Martinez. When was the last time we saw someone try to bunt against Martinez? Like, you don't, because he throws 103 and you don't want to break your fingers off of that or get hit in the face. But you can do it against Joe Mantiply because if he throws an 85-mile-per-hour fastball, I think all of us could get a bunt hit off of Mantiply at this point. He just has looked terrible, and with how good Beeks has looked and how good some of these other guys have looked, I don't know. I think his time is done. I mean, a 12 ERA, like, you can tell me his expected ERA is 2. Doesn't matter. He has a 12 ERA. Yeah, no relievers. Like, you can have one blow up game, and then that ERA blows up. But it's every time that he's come out, he gives up runs, and he just hasn't looked good at all. He just can't find a strike zone. When he does, he gets punished for it. So I think he's should be done here. Let Beeks cook, and then bring up Graveman and Ginkel. And I do like Jarvis, but I can see him being the one who gets sent down, fortunately, just because he has the options. But Ginkel and Graven can't get here soon enough because Torrey punted away this game. And I know people hate to hear that, but he did. You're down 3 runs in the ninth. This team has shown the ability to come back over and over and over again. And then people just have that loser mentality of like, well, they couldn't hit before. Well, yeah, because doesn't matter. Like their best reliever could have an off day. They could have had an off day, but instead they were down 7 and they just got owned at that point.
Yes, it sounds like a lot of people in the chat are kind of agreeing with you on this one. William Harold saying Lawler could pitch better than Mantiply, and there you go. Hey, you know what, Brandon? There's a spot that he can come in. He could hit a little bit, and then he can go in the bullpen. Get a few more innings. I know, like Tanner saying Mantiply was Multiply, and I believe even Corbin Barrels in our Discord before was saying that's his nickname as Multiply, because it does seem like the lead for the opponents multiplies a little bit whenever he's in there. And then again, even like, Tanner saying Mantiply to Reno. Ryan's on a little bit of a different page, but somewhat of the same page, saying I'd rather Beeks and Puck be the lefties and put J-Mart in the closer role than Nelson and Mantiply to Reno. That one will be a tough one, especially with, if you do want to keep Nelson stretched out as a potential pitcher. I personally would rather have Mantiply and Jarvis go down, just because, again, Jarvis has some more options. And Nelly, which we'll get into Nelly in a little bit too. He has looked really solid out of the bullpen. But yeah, it's definitely not looking great for Joe Mantiply. Again, he was our lone All-Star in the very bleak season that was the 2021 All-Star. Or he was our lone All-Star in the very bleak season that was 2021. And we would love to see that Joe Mantiply again, but we haven't. And it's been very, very unfortunate. So Brandon, obviously same question to you. With Ginkel and Graveman, I know they're both righties, but again, we know Ginkel's really effective. And if Graveman can kind of unlock what he was back for the Mariners and a little bit for the Astros, that'd be very exciting. So with both of them set to return and Jalen Beeks staying clapping cheeks in the bullpen, is Mantiply running out of chances to prove his value to this team's bullpen?
I even said so before this outing, because the couple of times that he had been out this season, I just was not impressed, and I haven't been impressed. He only made the All-Star team in 21 because you have to have one person make it, and nobody else was even somewhat qualified for it. He was the only one that it wasn't a phenomenal, it wasn't awful, but it wasn't there's a reason the only relievers that make the All-Star team are closers, because most of the time, most of the middle and setup guys aren't really have All-Star worthy stuff. So I think the team's just holding on for that. I think Beeks has been amazing. Not only can he be the lefty specialist, he can give you 6 outs. He's had 2 outings where he's have to gone 6 outs. That is a huge thing.
And he throws 97.
He is very he's basically what Mantiply should be. He comes in and he gets a lot of soft contact, a lot of weak fly balls, weak ground balls. Beeks has been absolutely phenomenal. I've been really impressed. I think he has earned the job. And just to address Charles's comment, yes, South Frank, I believe, is out till July still due to his extracurricular activities. So, I'm just I just don't see how you send Beeks, because I think they'd have to designate him for assignment. I don't even think he has an option. So you would have to do that. And it's not that Jarvis hasn't been worthy of it. It's just it's Ginkel and freaking Graveman. I'm we haven't seen him in we don't know what he's gonna be. We really he's kind of an unknown, but you don't sign a reliever like that and not have him on the major league roster. So for sure it Jarvis, and then I guess it depends on, are they gonna try to activate both at the same time, or is it going to be like they do one like this week and then one maybe next week? So maybe if Ginkel's ready to go, then you send down Jarvis and Ginkel, and that kind of like I'm wondering if they're gonna kind of give Ginkel like a lot of low leverage stuff to start, just to kind of get him ramped up to game speed. But I think Beeks has been simply amazing. Like someone had a comment here about how they would rather be him and yeah, rather have Peaks and Puck as the lefties and then Jamar in the closer role. And I personally feel the exact same.
Yeah, say it is going to be a little bit of a tough decision to make for Torrey and Hazen.
Yeah, and I will say, like, as great as Beeks has been, his career ERA is 4.5. He has a lot of 7 ERA seasons mixed into that. He hasn't been great throughout his career. This is kind of a year for him so far. So I will just keep a lookout on that. Like sometimes, I mean, guys do figure out sometimes, especially relievers. But I just will say, like, in a few weeks, when both Ginkel and Graven become available after the rehab starts and everything, Beeks could make the decision easier for them. It just depends right now. I think maybe that's why they're using him as much as they are. Just because it's not that they don't have trust in him or belief in him, but they did take a waiver on him. He wasn't.
Shoot.
Oh shoot!
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Hit the wrong button.
yeah. He wasn't signed for a reason. So I mean, again, like I'm not hoping he does bad, like at all. Like I love Biggs. I think he should be, in the bullpen. But I just will say, like, we shouldn't be surprised if he starts to struggle a little bit after this. But as of right now, maybe Jarvis and Mantiply. Mantiply for sure. Jarvis seems to be the kind of the odd man out.
Yeah, especially like again, I still like Jarvis, but even again, we'll get to him a little bit later. But what Ryan Nelson's kind of been doing for us as that long relief, and even in our Discord, there's usually a little bit of maybe not a little bit, more of a discussion on how Ryan Nelson and some of his pitch mixes and whatnot can profile a little bit better out of the bullpen. So I do think that having Nelly back there, I'd prefer to have him as our long man, or just if you need another righty, because this bullpen. A little teaser for later. It's gonna start to be called the dog pen because there's some fucking dogs back there, baby. But we'll dig on that in a little bit more because again, that is
one final thing I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be surprised if Mantiply they put him on the IL to make that roster, just because of how much his velocity has come down this year. It could be an injury, but it could be one of those phantom like shoulder soreness or
kind of like how Stroman was put on the IL immediately after he just got his fucking ass lit up.
Yes,
by the Giants.
Yes.
Yeah, so definitely be.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
Yeah, definitely something that I wouldn't be surprised if we see, whether it's on the off day Monday or in the next week or two, because again, I don't think Ginkel and Graveman are too far behind. Who knows? Maybe we see him, or maybe we see both of them and Cattell kind of come back at the same time. But moving on into the next game here, definitely did not look that great. The last inning there at the very end, kind of gave a better taste in our mouths because the D-backs did win this one 5-4. Corbin Burns made his first home start as a Diamondback and his third start as a Diamondback in general. He had a rough second inning where he got touched up a little bit, lost command of a few of his pitches. Brewers put up 2 on him, but he did finish with a quality start, going 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, and only 3 strikeouts. So strikeout numbers were, again, down a little bit, but hey, you know what? He's giving us innings. He's looking better. I'll take any little improvement we can. Did all that on 88 pitches with 55 of them being strikes. But like I said, does get the quality start. Ryan Nelson came out of the bullpen and he was stellar. 2 hits, 1 run. Again, 1 run over three innings, with 3 Ks and 36 pitches. Really solid work out of the bullpen. Great to see from him. The offense got shut down for the first 8 innings. So going back, from game 1 all the way to this one, that was 17 innings in a row where they just could not score a run. But they thankfully came to life in the 9th inning, which, we'll get more of a deep dive into that in a second. But then, like I said, the Brewers bullpen imploded and the D-backs put up 5 in the 9th to walk it off. So topic one here, obviously the big thing on it, everyone was hyped. It's yes, Gino bobblehead day, but it was Corbin Burns making his home debut appearance as a Diamondback and facing off against his former team who let him walk because they used his playoff numbers or some shit like that against him in arbitration and definitely pissed him off. So my question to you guys, also everybody in the chat, again, appreciate all you guys tuning in. I always like to hear your guys' thoughts. While things were looking a bit rough there in the second inning against his former team, he was still able to settle in and provide a quality start and keep his team in the game. What did you notice in this outing compared to his last outing against the Nationals, where, again, the strikeout numbers were still down, but at least was a much better quality start that we saw from him in Washington. So what did you guys notice? Maybe some tweaks that he made, whether it's like usage of pitches or anything like that. Because he did still stay a little bit cutter heavy. He threw 44 cutters, which was exactly 50%. But then had a nice mixture of curve, slider, sinker, and changeup. So what did you guys notice? And what might have been, maybe the thing that you think was the reason why he was a little bit more effective if this go around?
So it seems to be the cutter, and like we mentioned the last time, just the cutter is the key for everything else for him. And last time against Nationals, he just did not have any feel for that pitch at all. But the problem was he also kept spamming it. I believe he threw 70-something% fastball, cut fastballs, if I'm correct, well over 70%. This time he kept it to under 50%, which is what you need. You can't just spam fastballs, no matter how good they are, and expect to be, successful, especially as a starting pitcher. As a bullpen arm, yes, but as a starter, you need to be able to throw everything else that you have, and he has such great, other pitches as well. So the fact that he just kept spamming the fastball, he had no feel for it. It just, made it a recipe for failure for him. But he pitched a lot better this time, even though the umpire was trash. Like, I hate blaming umpires, but man, they were terrible all series, and going back to last series as well. They are not good at all. Like, they are still in spring training mode or something.
ABS. ABS.
They're terrible. They missed a few calls. They missed a few calls with Burns, who, again, he probably could have had a better outing if they made those calls correctly. But fortunately, you got to play with them as they are. And yeah, I just think that's what it was. The key is to cut fastballs. The key. If he's able to have control of that, he's able to put it where he wants. And if he's not spamming it, I think he's going to be a lot better going forward. And this is the third time through the rotation. Again, we mentioned how Torrey messed up his first start of the year, so that just put him behind, and so he just had a really weird ramp up, and we're maybe seeing him come out of that weird funk, and then he's finally going to be able to be the all-star type pitcher that we wanted him to be.
Yeah, I think if we can get this kind of Burns, especially if the offense can kind of, get on a little bit more of a consistent, streak with the top and bottom half of the lineup carrying all their weight. Again, it can't always be Frodo up there. Sometimes you need a Samwise Gamgee to help carry the rest of the. I'm sorry for the Lord of the Rings references back-to-back episodes. I have to, but yeah. So if we can get the offense to click a little bit more, and then get some of these outings from Burns, I think that we'll take this probably 9 times out of 10. And I think that we'd be very happy with our $200 million guy doing this for us. So, Brandon, same question to you. Obviously, with him being roughed up a little bit there in the second inning, but then kind of locking in and giving us that first quality start as a Diamondback. What did you notice in this outing compared to his last outing in the Nationals, where he just did not look Burns-esque?
It was great that he started to trust some of his secondary stuff, like through 15 curves, 10 sliders, 10 sinkers, and 9 changeups. Like, yeah, he still threw 44 cutters, but that's what he's going to do. That is his pitch, because it's the best cutter in Major League Baseball. There is no doubt about it. It's the best cutter in baseball. So why not throw it 50% of the time? Like, it's the pitch that he probably has the best command with. So, yeah, it makes sense. That second inning, though, like, home plate umpire Herman, right? Isn't it? No. Sorry. Alfonso Marquez was awful. It's like he cost Burns probably a strikeout in the first and then also a strikeout in the second. And that was the first walk that he had against Sal Frelick. Like, we don't know. Like, if he calls that a strike, like, because there were 2 at the bottom of the zone that were, like, there was one that was a little bit higher than, like, there was one that barely, but there was another one that caught a majority of it. That's a strikeout, 1 out. The the way that you pitch or call a game for a catcher with 1 on and 1 out is different than 2 on with no out. Luckily, he was really able to bounce back. And I know, like, everyone keeps throwing that it's a quality start. Like, okay, he gave up 3 runs, and one of them is to literally one of the hottest players in baseball right now, in Jackson Churio. So, like, dude, he hit that thing so far.
I was like Justin Upton territory.
Dude, that was like 20 rows there in left field. Like, Jackson Churio got all of that one. So I think we've seen a good thing and a bad thing out of each start. And I know everyone's like, can we ever sign a good free agent pitcher? He's had 3 starts. I'm going to be a broken record this entire month. It's early. It's like, when it comes to individual performances, like, I'm especially pitchers, because when the season starts, players have all of the advantages over the pitchers, because a lot of times they don't go very far in spring training till like the last start or the last 2 starts. So they really don't get up to that game speed until the season really starts. So I just want to see, like, yeah, and we talked about this offseason, his strikeout numbers. He only had 3 in this one. So that is a little worrisome, but I think he's just getting more comfortable with, I think, just pitching to Gabby. So I thought it was a good outing.
And we know he's super routine oriented. I think, again, being the quote unquote 5 guy in the rotation, I know Tori tried to keep him on the same routine that he had, and that's why he even was moved into that 5th spot. I do think he's readjusting to that, and then I think we're starting to see him kind of settle into that new routine.
Yeah, and I think Martin Drew mentions here about the not just the strike change, the at bat, but it also changes the entire game and their game plan as well. They know now, hey, that bottom part of the zone, that's a strike. That's not a strike today, so we can't throw it there as much as we want to. So they're missing an entire part of the zone that they can no longer attack to get easy ground balls. So you go a little bit higher, that ball is going 410 feet like Churio hit it.
Yeah, and dude, again, that was somebody must have pissed in his Cheerios, because my God, he was mad at that baseball. But the offense, again, was not giving Corbin Burns much hope into getting him off the hook there for a long while, because, again, like I said, they were shut out for 17 innings in a row, the first 9 or all 9 in game 1 there, and then the first 8 of game 2. But then I don't know if maybe Torrey started yelling them in the dugout. Maybe something happened. Maybe they were able to see Piamps. I know a lot of Brewers fans think Joel Piamps is dog shit. Genuinely, the amount of tweets I saw about him being dog shit and needing to be shipped to the moon, it sounded like us talking about Seawald there at the last few months of the season. But it was an absolute wild 9th. So again, the D-backs were only down by 4, which, once again, that's why I'm putting in Mantiply when we're only down by 3 in the 9th. What are you doing? But they're down by 4. Didn't look like it was going to start off well. Gino grounded out to begin the 9th inning, but then Gabby worked a walk. Alec Thomas, the young king, went up there and absolutely shit on a ball. That would have been a home run in 25 of 30 ballparks. It was 106 exit velocity off of the bat there, and he got again RBI triple there, breaking the streak at 17 and a third innings of being scoreless. That was nice. Garrett Hampson immediately followed that up with a walk after McGill came in. McGill was a little bit wild for this game. Corb Him Carroll. That's why you got to use Hims, baby. Corb Him Carroll stays hot. He had a 2-run double. Another one where he is just shitting on the ball. He hit this one at 111.7 miles an hour off the bat, and his would have been a home run in 24 of 30 ballparks. Perdomo worked a fantastic at bat and actually flipped the bat on that walk there. That was kind of funny to see.
That made me laugh.
That was hilarious, honestly. Him just going up like very aggressively, just flip the bat there and said, "Get this fucking bat out of here. I'm going to first." Which, more about him. He's off to an insane start. Jake McCarthy had a first pitch single to tie things up there. The Brewers ended up walking Josh Naylor. They wanted to face Lourdes Gurriel Jr., which you cannot blame them, just going off numbers. Naylor's been hitting well. Lourdes has got a third of the batting average, I believe, that Naylor has. but it did not matter. He did take a first pitch fastball right over the middle and got it just deep enough into right field. They took advantage of Frelick, who does not have the greatest arm, and Perdomo was able to trot on home for the 5th run of the 9th inning, and the D-backs did walk it off there in a crazy, crazy comeback in the 9th inning. So my question to you, gentlemen, obviously everybody in the chat, love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions, is after looking like the offense was replaced by my old Barry Goldwater high school team for 17 goddamn innings, they came to life in the 9th inning to put up 5 in a very exciting walk-off. Explain your thoughts and emotions on the absolute roller coaster of emotions that was just the end of the game, because literally me and my brother got done eating mellow mushroom. We're driving home, and I was like, dude, we're being shut out for almost 18 innings in a row. Are you fucking kidding me? And then by the time I get home, I see, oh, we're tied. What the hell's happening? Like it was an absolute insane roller coaster. So I want you guys to walk us through kind of what was going through your guys' brains for that last 9th inning there.
So yeah, it was just so. I mean, once Gino was out at that point, I was like, damn, 4 runs with 2 outs. It's gonna be really really hard to or 2 outs left, I should say. It's gonna be really hard to come from that. But I was like, okay, we got the heart of the order coming up. Alec is hitting as well. All these guys are very good hitters, so maybe they might be able to scratch off a couple runs here. At least to make it interesting. But as the at bats continued, and then Alec just smoking the ball, which he did on Friday as well when they brought him to pinch hit. So I don't know why he's playing part time right now. He is absolutely destroying baseballs left and right, and yet he's a bench player apparently. He also had the biggest hit today, so what the hell, man? But yeah, he just got all of that one, and again, it was just so unfortunate that center field wall, takes souls because it just does not forgive anything. And so instead of it being a 2-run home run, it was a 1-run triple, which is still great. But yeah, then Corbin came up, and I'm like, okay, Corbin, let's see.
Look how close that is. Look how close that is.
And Corbin also, I believe Hampson was in front of him. If Hampson was in front of him, I think Corbin also probably could have gotten a triple as well. But he had to put the brakes on a little bit. But it just kept going and going, and Payams could not find the strike zone. This is why you don't punt games. There's going to be relievers who have off days for the other team as well, and he just could not find the strike zone at all. And they finally were being patient as well. Like the D-backs, a lot of first pitch swinging against the starting pitcher this game and the last game, and this inning, I should say specifically, they were trying to take walks. They weren't swinging at the first pitch. Although I think the only ones who did were Jake and Gurriel, but they actually left the ball right down the middle for both of them, and so they were able to do damage on those pitches. And that's one, like I said, stop punting games. Like stop putting in your worst reliever to just die out there. Like, and that's the thing is like I feel bad for Mantiply. He just was left out there to die, and he kept looking back. I was there at the game, but I could see it from the 200 rows. Like, hey, he keeps looking back. Like he wants to be taken out of the game, and he's just being left out there to die. And this is why you don't do that. If you're down 3-4 runs, this offense is very capable of switching and becoming the answer backs that they have been for the last 3 seasons or so. And they showed, what happens when they take a better approach and when a reliever can't find the strike zone. Like they played very good this inning, and it was exciting. Then finally, bases loaded. At that point, you're playing House Market for Uriel. Was able to get the ball in the air and made it a lot closer than I thought it would be. Like I know Perdomo got in standing, but it was like half a step.
Yeah, it was just a crazy. I did not expect it, especially with how dead they were looking for that entire game. And I love how Alex still barely made it into third after he definitely pimped out a little bit. He definitely had a little bit. He pimped that.
I'm like,
his
if he didn't stare at it for about 2 seconds, he would have been fine. That's why the play was so. But it just shows how fast he is.
Yeah, he flies. So MLB The Show, pay the fuck attention. He does not have 60 speed, you fuckers. Sorry, it pisses me off every time I'm playing Road to the Show, or not Road to the Show. Every time I'm playing something and I see him hit in the gap, and I'm like, he does not have 60 speed. Pay attention, guys. But I do agree. It was crazy. It was, and like to Gabe's point, it's a reason why you do not punt away games, and you just try to kick the can down the road. as long as you got outs left in the game, this offense does have a little bit of life left in them. So, Brandon, same thing to you. Like I said, with them basically looking like my old high school team, kind of put on D-backs uniforms and were, out there just taking hacks. To putting up 5 in the 9th inning. Explain your thoughts and emotions just the entire 9th inning there. What was going on in your brain and whatnot?
I want to know what's going on. Like, is it because there's like 4 guys that are only hitting right now. Like everyone else, like for the most part through the entire game, is just not hitting very well. Like I want to see Alec continue to play until he goes cold. Like yes, I know Jake's been hitting good the last couple of days, but Alec is just tearing the cover off the ball every time that he makes contact. And I think he faced a lefty today, and he got a hit off a lefty. So the whole splits thing, I don't care. I really don't care.
It was a hit off of a righty in Game 3.
Oh, okay. I thought he got a hit off a left, but this team. Jerry had 3 walks in this game. We said on this podcast before. No. He had 3 walks on Saturday.
Yeah, he did.
That's right.
Jerry had, like we said on this podcast, he's Juan Soto without the power. He is a pest up at the plate. He'll foul off 3-4 in a row, and you're like, just get out. And he's like, no. And like Gabe said, that play at home, I feel like he probably jogged the last 30 feet. I think that's why it was so, if it was someone with an arm or if it was a little bit closer, I could see him probably just running. So he might have had 3 walks today as well.
Yeah,
but
he had 3 walks. That's crazy.
It's freaking crazy. And I'm trying to decide if I want to bring that up now or in the next one.
Save it for the next one.
So one thing, my freaking anxiety in this part was just, oh my God, because me and Josh were there. I'm going to say that the reason they won is because of Josh. Josh put on a rally cap. Just saying. So it worked. So one just quick thing that I was a little confused about until I rewatched the game with the TV broadcast. I was confused as to why Ryan Nelson went out for the 9th. I was like, he's done pretty well, pitched 2 innings. There's no reason. And then they talked about how they're trying to get him ramped up to 35 pitches. It's pretty much how much he threw in this game. So I'm thinking that they're trying to stretch him out. So that made a little bit more sense for me. But Ryan has looked amazing in the bullpen. I know everyone a week ago wanted him to be in the starting rotation. I don't know who you remove. But Carroll is just so fun to watch right now. He's on a 7-game hit streak, and I'm pretty sure he's gotten on base in every game this season so far.
He has, and he has a nice little, which we'll get to in Game 3 here, but he does have a nice little streak dating back to last year as well. Shout out Dalton Thielen for that set. But yes, it is still so weird seeing his batting stance though. For the amount of years getting used to, especially from where my seats are, you can kind of see where the bat was and the little wiggle, where now it's it's way more exaggerated. It's generally it's in front of his face when he's sitting there hitting.
I think he's moved it a little bit further since the start of the year.
Yeah, he's probably hey man, it's almost like one of those softball swings, in slow pitch softball where you whip it back, you just get so much more force on the ball because of the whipping the barrel back and having it do that for us. So maybe that's what it is. Who knows? It's working though, because even in which we'll save it for Game 3 when we dive into it here in a second there. But even that double that he had today, he hit that, and even my brother was like, "Holy shit!" He how hard did he hit that thing? And then I looked up on baseball, which I always have my phone open on Baseball Savant and Game Day because I always like to see the strike zone. And stuff
same.
Seeing that he hit that at 111.7 miles an hour, dude, he is locked the fuck in right now, and it's insanely fun to watch. But that locked in portion of his game definitely did continue into game 3. Not the first few innings there, as he wasn't able to, or at least wasn't driven in there. But in game 3, we all, this is the fresh one on everyone's mind. You guys all know, but still, they won this one 5-2. They finally got their shit together. They didn't wait until the 9th inning to put all their runs on. They still waited until the last half of the game, but hey, you know what? They scored some runs in multiple innings. That's all that matters. Took this one 5-2. Game. It must have been the energy from Jack Doyle of We Got Ice. Shout out John Boy Media. If you guys don't know We Got Ice, highly recommend check him out. Great YouTube channel. But Jack Doyle was out there throwing out the first pitch, so that was super surprising too. I kind of fanboyed for a minute there. Gallen was the real pitcher of the game for the D-backs there. Did give up 2 runs on a William Contreras home run in the first inning, which was just a line drive home run.
That thing didn't get more than 10 feet off the ground, I swear.
Yeah, he hit that thing on a rope there. But Gallen did settle in. He went 6 innings with 5 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks on 89 pitches, with 56 of them being strikes. Corbin Carroll, again, shout out Dalton Feely for the stat. Corbin Carroll set a new career high with 22 straight games reaching base, dating back to last year. The D-backs did score in each of innings 5 through 8 for this comeback, which I believe there's another stat. I think it was Jeff bringing up in our Discord that 7 of their 9 wins this year have been comeback wins. So that's been, just again, the never say die D-backs. Young King Alec Thomas with a clutch 2-run single there in the 8th inning. To give them a little bit more of a cushion going into the 9th inning. And he is doing really well this year. Obviously, still only around like 35 at-bats, but he's slashing 344, 389 with a 531 slug. Comes out to a 920 OPS. Another reason why a lot of us in the offseason was like, hey, don't trade Alec. He has a lot of potential. There's a reason why he was a really highly rated prospect.
RBI as well.
Yeah, say another. RBI. How many RBI now?
10
RBI in the season, yeah, and in very limited appearances too. So he's been clutch when it's mattered. Beaks, Clapp, and Cheeks, Martinez, and Pucks combined for 3 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. And obviously Gallen went into this one, but this was something we forgot to bring up after the Corbin Burns one, or after game 2 there with Corbin Burns, was the starting pitching rotation has definitely improved a little bit. In the first go around was a 4.68. ERA. The second one was a 7.18, and then for the third go around, it's a 3.68 team ERA there for the starting pitching staff. And Gallen starting things off strong for round 4 with his only 2 runs allowed there. So the thing that kind of stuck out to a lot of us, I know some people might think that we're being too negative, or maybe we're trying to always do the but what about this and whatnot, but still it's something that I think does need to be at least talked about, and something that we need to pay attention a little bit. So it's the hot and cold offense. Hitters 1 through 4, this is including Alec Thomas and his pinch hit, as well as Randall Grichuk, even though he was immediately walked. Hitters 1 through 4 went 6 for 14 in this game, 2 doubles. Pavin Smith and Corbin Carroll, 1 was hit almost twice as hard. 5 walks. Domo had 3 of them, and then 3 RBI. Hitters 5 through 9, however, went 1 for 15 with 2 walks and 1 RBI. All 5 of these batters are really struggling to start 2025. I'm going to read off some of their stats here because this was depressing for me to even type out. So Lourdes Gurriel, a junior, his slash is 145, 183, 291 for a 474 OPS. Gino is hitting 145, 277 with a 455 slug. His OPS is at 732. He's actually 2 for 25 in his last 7 games, so that the OPS is being carried by those first few home runs. Jake McCarthy, obviously we know his struggles are very well documented. He's starting to turn around a little bit, but he's still hitting 091, a 184 on base, and a 121 slug for a 305 OPS. Tim Tawa, still a little bit of a smaller sample size, but still, other than a few hits here and there, even a nice sacrifice fly today to tie the game, he's hitting and slashing 214, 250, 286 for a 536 OPS. And then Jose Herrera is slashing 176, 222, 353 slug for a 575 OPS. And then, again, they did win 2 games here this series. Yes, that is important, but something that is, we were going to bring up last time in the Orioles series, but because of that 9-0 win, we wanted to, maybe wait on it and see exactly how it's going to be looking. And that's the team's, batting average and how they're performing with runners in scoring position. So in this game today, they were 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position. This entire series, they were 4 for 24. They only had 3 opportunities in, I believe, game 1 there. So 4 for 24 this series, but this entire homestand against the Orioles and the Brewers, they were 7 for 52 with runners in scoring position. So yes, every now and then they're getting, the big hits here and there, which have helped obviously in game 2 and 3 here, especially the Alec hit. Even last night, Corbin Carroll and Alex Thomas's hits there. Those were nice. I mean, Alex wasn't even with runners in scoring position, but still Corbin Carroll's hit, and even Jake McCarthy's whatnot. Like, they are still getting a few hits here and there, but a 752 or 7 for 52 with runners in scoring position over a 6-game span. That's very concerning to me. If they could just get a few more hits here and there, we wouldn't have to worry about getting the big inning every single game to win these games. So, going into my question here for you gentlemen, obviously everybody at home listening, this offense has clearly showed they have no quit in them. Obviously, like we saw in the walk-off win on Saturday, and even today, putting up 5 runs in the last 4 innings. And they seem to love scoring in the later half of these games, but for some reason seem to forget their bats for the first 5 innings, or maybe this is just baseball, like other teams doing their job. Or I guess that's my question is this just baseball as the other teams are doing their job, like they are paid to get hitters out? Or is this something that we should be a little bit concerned with and try to monitor as we're, getting on in the season here and making sure that we're not being blindsided by their lack of production with runners in scoring position?
I think this is mostly on the players, like whatever it is that they're all going through. Because if it was one guy struggling, like if it was just still Jake, okay, it is what it is. Some guys will just start off really cold and then heat up as time goes on. But it's 5 guys on the main, on the main starting players as well. So it's not like it's a lot of guys who are on the bench. I mean, you're talking about Gino, Gurriel. I mean, I guess Hampson is still technically a starter now because Cattell is out. But this team has to carry. After the first 3 or 4 guys, after that, it's like you have easy 1, 2, 3 in the next time, and even for the next at bat as well. It's like you can get through 2 innings because of how bad this bottom half of the lineup is, and I think it's really concerning, especially 7 for 52. And I mentioned a little bit in the Orioles series, like, hey, like this is something to keep an eye on. Like they didn't do well with runners in scoring position, and even the series before that against the Nationals, they struggled with score with runners in scoring position, and they lost that series. So I think I'm not going to say they've been lucky to win at all. Like they played the innings that they're supposed to play. The starting staff has been very good. The bullpen has been elite. The Manta play, but for the most part, the bullpen has been elite. The starting pitchers have been very good, so they've been able to keep this offense in the game, but not being able to score runners in scoring position is very, very frustrating. And I didn't think this lineup was going to look as weak as it does without Cattell. But when Cattell isn't there to back up Corbin to drive him in, kind of just nobody really does it. And you have Alec Thomas who has 10 RBI. That's more than double what Pavin Smith has, and Pavin Smith has had about 10 games in the 3-hole. We looked up his stats. He has 10 or 12 at bats of runners in scoring position, and his stat line is like 160. He has like a barely 400 OPS with runners in scoring position. He has not like good runners in scoring position. He gets a lot of walks, he gets a lot of hits, just not with runners in scoring position, which is a huge, huge problem, especially from the number 3 spot. When you have a guy like Perdomo and Corbin with the 400 on base, we have to find a way to drive these guys in, because if they don't drive in Corbin and Perdomo, then nobody's getting driven. And we saw that in this case, the guys who kept scoring were Perdomo and Corbin, and the guys who brought him in were a few different guys like Naylor and in the game before Gurriel, but they need to start showing up, and that bottom half is a problem right now. And right now they're going against Miami. Miami isn't the greatest, but as of right now, this does not look like a playoff team. I know they've been winning, which is great. It's great that they're winning, but I think this is an issue that needs to be fixed sooner or later, because if you start facing elite bullpens, there's going to be a lot of shutouts.
You're muted, I think.
Oh yeah, thank you. I know you brought up Pavin Smith, so it's a good time to bring it up. We were talking about it in the group chat in his runners scoring position, looking at Fangraphs here, using their splits tool, kind of looking at him as a hitter with runners in scoring position. My goodness, like last year in his 50 plate appearances, he had a 931 OPS. He had a 137 WRC plus, a 233 average. He was walking at 8% with striking out 14%. And then this year, again, very, very smaller sample size, but he has had 13 plate appearances with runners in scoring position. He's hitting 200, 385 with a 300 slug for a 685 OPS and a 109 WRC plus.
That's not even updated. That's not updated.
That's not even updating for today, I believe. So I guess going into this game, he was hitting 23, or he had a 23.1 walk percentage, which you're like, oh, you know what? He's walking more. So, giving it that next man up, like, we love Domo's walks, and he lets the next guy behind him get a chance. But he's striking out at a 46.2% clip. That is, and again, it got a little bit worse today, obviously, with, I think he had a strikeout against Freddie Peralta with a runner on in scoring position. So not looking good from him, which is weird, because even looking at I think it was batting order. Yeah. So using the splits tool, looking at it in the 3-hole, I know you're talking about it before. He's not terrible in the 3-hole. Like this year, he's hitting 333, 429, 542 slug with a 970 OPS in the 3-hole in his 28 plate appearances.
3 RBI.
Even 3 RBI. Yeah, that's true. He is only 3 RBI. But even last year, he's still hitting better than last year, but even last year in his 8 plate appearances in the 3-hole, he was 250, 625 slug for an 875 OPS. So it is weird. Like in the 3-hole, it's like in a position where maybe, you're not expecting him to come through with runners in scoring position. He, has a home run like against Dean Kremer when he yarded off the Orioles pitcher the other day. But again, that wasn't with runners in scoring position. So it's not just Pavin. It's a lot of the lineup in general. Even sometimes, obviously, at times, Corbin Carroll, I know he struck out today with a runner on. I think it was Tim Tawa after he hit his double. So it's not going to be a hit every single time from the top of your lineup, but the middle to bottom half of the lineup really need to start, producing a little bit more. And even Elise is saying that first pitch, ground ball, double play Pavin had in the first inning last night was brutal, killed the rally. And that is kind of to Gabe's whole point there of, like, yes, Pavin can be a good hitter, but you want your 3-hole hitter to be a good hitter with runners in scoring position, not just a good hitter, when it's not crucial. And he just hasn't been there. Hopefully we'll see him turn it around, but we just haven't seen it just yet. We really haven't seen that from anyone other than Corbin Carroll, Perdomo, Josh Naylor, and that's pretty much, like, those are pretty much our 3 big run producers at the moment.
And Alec Thomas.
Yeah, Alec Thomas as well. Like
part-time player Alec Thomas with 10 RBI, twice as much as Pavin, who's a 3-hole hitter.
Yeah, that's insane. But Brandon, same question to you. Obviously, like I said, the offense show they have no quit in them. They like to score in the late half of their games, but seem to forget their bats in the first few innings. Is this just baseball again? The other team doing their job of getting teams out, or getting these hitters out, and not letting them adjust? Or is this something that we should be a little bit concerned about and try to monitor as the season, trucks along here?
So to be honest, I don't think this is out of the norm for Gurriel and Gino. Like, we've seen it with Gurriel since he's been here. He's super streaky. And right now he's in one of his cold streaks. I don't know how long you let him try and play through it, because it's kind of sacrificing 3 outs a game. Like, so you don't have 27 outs to play with. You only have 24. And like, Gino, for me, has earned the ability to play through it because of what he did in the second half of last year. I'm fine with it. Also, who else are you going to put at third base right now is a whole another thing. But we did get some good news. I think it was Friday. Gambo said that Catel's probably going to be back by the end of the month, which is kind of what I was like. I was hoping May 1st. Like, May 1st for me was like, okay, if he's back by May 1st, we should be okay. But then that starts another discussion. Where do you put Perdomo? The way he's hitting right now, like, he deserves to be at the top of the lineup, but with how bad the bottom of the lineup has been, I think Toy might put him back in the 9-hole so that there's not such a big drop-off in the bottom of the lineup. So, like, it's a very hard decision for Torrey, but, like, the way he's playing, like, I would probably put Carroll, Domo, and then Marte in the 3-hole. Like, I know he's a really good leadoff hitter, but also he would do damage because I think it happened twice this series. The bottom of the first, both Carroll and Domo get on, and then Pavin grounds into the double. If that's Marte, they pitch so much more differently. Like I've said it before, a lot of teams are not scared of Pavin in the 3-hole. I'm not saying Pavin is not a good baseball player. He is not a number 3 in your lineup. Like, yes, I know he gets walks, but he strikes out. But he doesn't have the power that Gino has. That's why a lot of people are not as worried about Gino's struggle because of what he did. Pavin's never really been a notorious power hitter. So, again, I don't have an issue with Pavin. I don't like him in the 3-hole. And I don't like how Torrey kind of platoons him. And I'm like, at DH, I'm fine with that. You cannot do that at first base, especially if your other first baseman is your DH. Like, how many teams have had to sacrifice their DH? I don't think anyone has since it's went full time. Torrey, it's probably the only one that's done it, and he's did it twice in a month. Like, it's a really big risk. It worked out today. Where we got those runs there late in the game because freaking I don't know if you guys saw it on the Josh Naylor single. You can see after he makes contact, he kind of flips the bat.
Oh, he stares at them.
He stares at him. He's like, because I think he felt disrespected how they intentionally walked him last night.
Well, so and trying to walk the one guy in front of him to pitch to him, like treating like he's not a threat. And
watch right here. He kind of flips, and then he as he gets close to first, he kind of stares at their dugout. He's like, "How'd that work out for you?" Like, I just love the whole sassiness out of Josh Naylor. Yes, I know he's had a couple of blunders at first base. He's playing better than Christian Walker. Have you guys looked at Christian Walker's stats to start the year? They're not very good.
If you want to be depressed, do it, but don't. I still love Christian Walker, but those are not good stats.
No, which it's not that shocking because we've seen it firsthand. Christian Walker always struggled early. Just like Goldie always struggled out of the gate. There's just some players who just don't get started till May 1st to May 15th. It's just what it is. So I just the way the National League West is right now, you can't afford to have these games where you could potentially we're a couple plays away from being swept in this series. You take out the 9th inning, you take out the 5th or the 8th today, and we're 2 games under 5. Luckily we won both those games. So we're and I think was it Dalton who tweeted this? D-backs have 9 wins and they're in first place in the National League. 9 wins right now would have the best record in the American League. That's how crazy the National League West is right now.
Yeah, the NL just in general is just insanely crazy. But it is hopefully something that we could see the bottom half of the lineup turn around. And because like you said, take away the few of these plays here, especially from the top half of our lineup, and then we would be sitting here probably rage streaming here at the bottom half of our lineup, basically being a black hole, as even Tanner in the comments saying here 5 through 9 is a black hole right now, and that's probably would have been the main focus if it was not for some of these few wins here. But it is at least we got the win here and we get to go home on happy. But we're gonna end this game 3 discussion here on a little bit of a happier topic, something that was exciting to see that we've been seeing a little bit throughout the season. And I know I kind of teased it earlier, but it's no longer a bullpen. It's a dog pen because we got so many dogs back there. Arr, 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 arr. I'm sorry for that. Shelby Miller, 1-0 with 0 ERA in 6 innings, 5 strikeouts, a walk, 1 hit by pitch. He's got a .17 whip. AJ Puck, 0 for 0, wins-loss, but he has a .360 ERA. 3 straight scoreless appearances, which is nice. 3 saves in 6 innings pitched with 10 strikeouts, 2 walks, 5 hits, 1 hit batter for a .117 whip. Jalen Beeks clapping cheeks, 1-0 with an 8.7 ERA, 10 and a third innings with 4 hits, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts, and a .58 whip, which again, whip is a big thing for bullpen pitchers, especially if you're only going to be out there for an inning. Limiting runners is the big key. Ryan Nelson 1-0 with a 4.50 ERA. The 4.50 ERA might not, jump off the page as much, but he has only surrendered 1 run over his last 8 2/3 innings. He has a total of 10 innings with 8 hits, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts, and he has a .9 whip. And then the man that we all know and love, especially when he's got his location and splitter down, he is 1-0. No runs allowed this year. He's got a 0 ERA and 5 2/3 with 3 hits. The big key here, 0 walks, 9 strikeouts for a .53 whip. So I know we talked about it a little bit earlier with Kevin Ginkel and Kendall Graveman still yet to make their 2025 debuts, but once they, kind of come back into the fold of things, and if Kevin Ginkel is his normal Kevin Ginkel, if Kevin Graveman or Kendall, good Lord, there's too many KG relievers here in this bullpen. But if Ginkel and Graveman can come back, and then Ginkel can be his normal self, if Graveman can kind of find a little bit of his form that he was for the Mariners a few years ago, would this Snakes bullpen potentially be one of the best that we've ever seen, or at least that we've seen in many years? Because I can't recall a bullpen this deep and this stacked.
Yeah, I mean, as it is, like the guys that we have that you mentioned, I'm like, just having those guys, I think, is better than anything else we've ever had, ever. Like, I truly don't and can't remember a single time where I saw a guy come out, other than, again, sorry, Man Supply, come out and I'll be like, yep, you count it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and especially because these guys can get out lefties and righties, like Puck and J-Mart, both of them, with how good they are. It doesn't matter if it's a righty or it's a lefty matchup. Doesn't matter. They're gonna get them out, and they've been all so incredibly stable, which is so valuable because of this bullpen. Started off slow. Honestly, with the way some of these games have gone, this team could be like 4 and what is it? There's 9 and 7, so that's 16. 4 and 8, 4 and 8, 4 and 10, or something, like however many games it's been. This team could have 4 wins because of how bad the starting pitcher has started. And if this bullpen was how it started last year, you're talking about a completely different season right now. But they've been incredibly steady, and the bullpen has gotten quite a bit of work so far. But being able to bring in Ginkel and bring in Graveman, and we haven't even mentioned Thompson either. Thompson has been really, really steady as well, and Jarvis has also been incredibly steady. So, like, our A bullpen has been incredible. Our B bullpen is still incredible. Like, there's still really good guys. We have a C bullpen, and that's kind of meant to play. And yeah, it's just been so incredible to watch and so much fun as well. Because as soon as they get a lead, you're like, all right, this bullpen's going to come in and be able to hold that lead. When was the last time we felt that way ever? Like, unless we had a 3 or 4 run lead going into the 9th, maybe when they had Papa Grande or
That one elite season of JJ Putz.
JJ Putz, yeah, the one season we had like 50 something
Ziegler.
Ziegler. Like, when have you ever felt that confident? And even then, JJ Putz threw like 89, Ziegler threw like 85. Papa Grande was the only one who threw like in the low 90s or something like that. But right now we have guys who are just pumping gas, and that's something we had been asking for decades. Just a guy back there who can throw it incredibly hard. And we had hopes for Luis Frias, but the guy just cannot locate. And so that's why he's in Cleveland or whatever the hell he's with. But yeah, this bullpen is elite, and it's just going to get better with Graveman and with Ginkel coming up. And I'm excited to see, like I said, bullpens win championships. And right now we have one of the better ones in the league.
Yes, I fully agree with you. We might have had a few solid arms here and there throughout the years, but I don't think we've ever had a bullpen this well rounded out to where, again, we even mentioned earlier in the man supply topic, like Bryce Jarvis hasn't really lost a rotation or a bullpen spot because of his performance. It's just one of those where, even like Brandon said, you're bringing in Graveman. You're not going to just let that guy sit in the minors. You're not going to just sign him and then immediately release him. Like, you're going to give him a shot. Kevin Ginkel still has, an established role here in this bullpen. So this is a fantastic problem to have, and a one that I do not think that we've, again, in my memory as a D-backs fan, in my, 27 going on 28 years now, I don't think we've ever had a bullpen this deep and this efficient. Pause. that we could potentially see. So Brandon, same thing to you, obviously with all those stats for those guys I mentioned, and then one name that I also forgot to get in there was obviously Ryan Thompson, because he has been pretty solid too. Obviously, I don't want him to be forgot out here. I can quickly shout him out here and read off some of his numbers. He's got a 338 in 5 1/3 innings pitched this year. He only had one outing where he gave up runs, and that was the outing against the Yankees. Obviously the two that were on his record were off of that Anthony Volpe Mickey Mouse home run. But other than that, he's been really solid with a .56 whip. So he's another name throw into that mixture of guys that has been insanely solid. So do you think that with Graven and Ginkel coming back, and if they can at least be somewhat of the guys that we know they can be, do you think that this is potentially the best bullpen that we've had in years, maybe even ever, as D-backs fans?
Torrey Hazen absolutely cooked with this bullpen. Like, it has taken a while to really mold this bullpen as to how he would like, but it's nasty. The D-backs bullpen has the lowest whip in all of Major League Baseball at 0.84. But they've allowed 20 earned runs. Like, I'm trying to figuring out how that works. Basically, they're
Ryan
not
Nelson
walking.
Ryan Nelson Beeks opening day, I believe, had a few. Thompson had a few here and there. It's even
ERA. They have the 6th best bullpen ERA. That is not that bad. It's only at 3.29. So like, this bullpen has just been freaking amazing. But that A bullpen is just dynamite. And the fact is once we get our G's back and Graveman and Ginkel, that just means our middle relief B bullpen is going to be that. Like, you're going to have probably Beeks and Miller there, and those guys are amazing. Like, Shelby Miller, like a .17 whip. Absolutely crazy. Just absolutely nuts. This bullpen, like, I'm not worried about if we have, like, there's only a couple of guys that I'm like, if they bring them out, I'm a little worried. Mantiply is one of them. And that's why on Friday I was so pissed. I was so pissed. I'm like, okay, like, I get why he brought him out. He only faced one guy in the 8th. But if he gave up back-to-back singles, take him out. Take him out. Bring in somebody else. Like, if it was J-Mart, I don't care. Just bring someone out to stop the bleeding. So, yes, we did win the Dansby Swansea trade. Just saying. So, yeah, I just can't wait to see this bullpen continue to do well.
Yeah, this is something that I'm going to say it every time I get the chance. Day one, J-Mart truther. It's nice to see him fully blossom into what he's been doing. Because even as Ryan Page is saying, can we talk about the splitter he threw today? Yuck. His splitter, like, again, I mentioned it going over the stats. No walks. I think I was surprised. I could have sworn, I was like, I feel like there's been at least 1 or 2 walks here and there, but again, no walks on Justin Martinez's numbers this year, which is the big key. Again, like, yes, even today he had a few at bats where he got to a full count on guys, but as long as he's not giving free passes, he's one of the most elite arms, not even just in our bullpen, just in baseball in general. And AJ Puck, he's so good at getting out both lefties and righties. I know even Gabe in our group chat was saying, he's like, it's, of course, you go matchups, but then Pat Murphy answers back with pinch hitters. Justin Martinez faces 2 lefties out of the 3 batters he gets to see. AJ Puck faced mostly righties out of the batters he got to see. But they still do an amazing job at getting those guys out. Obviously, Puck made things a little bit interesting there in the end, but he did strike out all 3 batters for all of his outs. And this bullpen, like, if Shelby Miller can keep doing what he's doing, if Jalen Beeks, if this is the Jalen Beeks we're going to get all season, then my goodness, like, buckle up, because we're not going to have, at least, knocking on every piece of wood I possibly can, not going to have too many heartbreaks that we, saw, especially last year. Like, we harped on it a bunch. Those few blown saves against the Padres, Dodgers, and Braves from Paul Sewald. Those basically just a few losses here and there can't fully break your season, but a few of them that add up and whatnot, when the final season comes around, or final game of the season comes around, can definitely be the difference maker. And this bullpen can be a huge difference maker into locking down the D-backs. Hopefully a lot of wins.
His splitter, in my opinion, is his best pitch. It
Yeah.
is his best pitch. It's disgusting.
And I think we can just all agree to ban Oscar, which Oscar, love seeing you.
I was
By the way.
about-
But yeah, say we will all miss Miguel Castro. I don't know if miss is the right word. Maybe miss like
I mean, can you just think about it? From this time last year, we had Miguel Castro, Scott McGough, and Paul Sewald. That was our A bullpen last year.
oh god, yeah. Honestly, man, what is the he's the miracles.
Do you want me
all-
to read off Miguel Castro's stats for this year, by the way?
Oh no, he's good now, huh? For the Astros.
Nope. 11 games, 5.93 ERA with a 1.68 whip. So, yeah.
Miguel
Houston,
Astro.
I hope you're enjoying that.
My goodness, yeah, that is so glad it's in the rearview mirror,
Right.
and we don't deal with that anymore. But same with this Brewers game, the series, the Brew Crew, we handle business. Obviously, would like a sweep here, but you know what? We won both these series in this homestand. Came back under 500. We left 2 over 500. Oh, right, wasn't it? Yeah, came back a game under 500. We left at least over 500, which is nice. And we are now going on into Miami as we face on the Marlins. And I said it before. I don't know what the fuck happens. Maybe they just go clubbing too much. Maybe it's something about just East Coast games in general. But we always historically seem to really struggle with the Marlins in Miami. I know last year I believe we dropped 2 of the 3. It seems like every single time we're there, they just always have our number. I know we got no hit by, I believe, was it Anibal Sanchez years ago. Like they always seem to beat our ass. But game 1 on Tuesday, Merrill the mainstay, he's going again. He's 2-1 with the 7.20 ERA. Going up against Connor Gillespie for the Marlins. He's 0-1 with a 3.86 ERA, so he's not too bad so far in the season. Game 2 on Wednesday is going to be Brandon Pfaadt, who is 2-1 with a 3.50 ERA, going up against Max Meyer, one of the Marlins' former top picks. Good to see him back from Tommy John and decently effective. Hopefully we can hit him around a little bit. And then Thursday is going to be Eduardo Rodriguez, who is 0-2 with the 4.86 ERA, going up against MLB The Show king, Edward Cabrera. Anybody that remembers MLB The Show from, I believe, 2022, maybe 2023. He was a nightmare to face. Hopefully we don't have to worry about him being a nightmare to face for the D-backs in real life, but he is 0-0 with a 3.18 ERA. So, fellas, is there anything that's, you guys are, maybe predicting, anything that's sticking out to you this series going into Miami? Anything that you guys personally want to see, whether it's improvements from the bottom half of the lineup, maybe it's just turning the tide on our fortunes in Miami, or maybe a single player that you're going to have your eye on here for the series?
So all of these starting pitchers are very good. I mean, Connor Gillespie is a very good pitcher. He also kind of looks like Zach Gallen. When
I
we
was going to
first
say,
brought
yeah.
Zach Gallen over, he kind of just looks like him. It's kind of weird. He also makes the faces that he does too, like when he pitches. But yeah, at least the starting staff is very good. They're still relatively young, so I think it's going to be kind of a wash for both of them. But the main thing is to get to the bullpen. I want to see this team get deeper counts. Don't swing at the first pitch over and over again. Work the count. Get into the Miami bullpen because they're not great. They're not terrible, but they're not great. And with our elite bullpen, I feel like if you get to the 7th inning and they have the lead, I feel like our bullpen can shut them down. Again, change the fortunes in Miami. For some reason, they just struggle against them. No matter if Miami is on a 50-game losing streak, somehow they'll get swept. Like, I don't understand it. But overall, I think for me, I want the sweep. This team has to at least have a sweep, and that sweep starts by winning the first game. And if they don't win the first game, then they're going to be playing behind, and they really have to show out for that second game. And the main thing I want to see is the offense breakout. That 5 through 9. Show me that you guys were just going through a cold streak. Show out against, I'm not gonna say lesser team, but lesser team in the Miami Marlins. Because we have been playing an incredibly hard schedule. I think Elise mentioned in the chat as well. Like the strength of schedule in our first series, like it's not like they've been playing a bunch of, 60-win, 50-win teams. They've been playing teams that are probably either going to be in the wild card race, win the division, or even like the Nationals. The Nationals are probably going to win 75 games this season. They're not going to be completely terrible. So if you have a team that's probably going to win 55 to 60 games, you got to sweep them.
Yeah, they did just beat the shit out of the Nationals today, and we obviously struggled with them. So who knows? Baseball's a funny sport, man. But Brandon, is there anything that I'm particularly watching out? Are you kind of on the maybe Gabe read your mind and read my mind? Because I think that's for me what I'm looking out for is just seeing a little bit more production. Maybe we can get Gurriel, to kind of turn things around a little bit. Maybe Gino can start to slug a little bit more, just in general the bottom half of the lineup. Or is there something else, whether it's a certain aspect of this team's game or a certain player in particular that you're going to have your eye on here for the series?
Well, all three of the starting pitchers for the Marlins are right-handers. Alex should be starting every single game of this series. I do not want to see Jake. Like, Alec is playing so well right now. Let him play day in and day out until he doesn't hit. Like, I don't know if Torrey thinks, well, that's why he's hitting is because he's not playing every day. That outfield at Marlins Park, it's pretty big and spacious. I would feel a lot more comfortable with his ability to read the ball off the bat. And I think a sweep is going to almost every series from here on out until the Giants and the Padres come back down to earth, because you need to make ground. You really do. Like this next week, because we have the Marlins and then the Cubs. Like you gotta at least win 4 games. You gotta. Now starting off with a sweep makes it a lot easier to do. So, yeah, and like I want Erod to get some run support. Like, come on, you guys. Like, 0-2 is not a reflection as to how well he's actually pitched. I think Erod has pitched phenomenal. He has his last start, like, it wasn't a bad outing against Baltimore. He just got no run support.
He's like lefty Brendan Pfaadt.
Yeah. So
blow up inning.
So yeah, just get the sweep, boys.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, just because they are a inferior team, don't play down. Just play your best ball. Like the whole playing down to your competition drives me nuts when teams do that.
Yeah, it seems like they get in their own head and they're like, oh, you know what? It's like we need to be beating them and we're not. So now we're gonna we're gonna press the plate a little bit. We're gonna focus a little bit, or maybe not focus as much. Maybe try a little bit too hard. Which again, it's super funny. I feel like just in sports in general, where it's like, oh, like you're trying too hard. It's like, of course you're gonna try your absolute best, but then there are some times where I do think it's a mental thing. You get in your own head, and maybe instead of looking for the pitch to hunt, you're just gonna swing at any pitch in the zone. Maybe instead of trying to, even we talked about with Brandon Pfaadt last time, instead of trying to pitch to contact and get some guys out, you're trying to be too crazy and you're going for the strikeouts every single time, and it's letting your pitch count get up. Just play your game that we know how to play chaos ball, just, clean defense, especially. I think that was a big thing this series is there wasn't really any defensive miscues. And I think that's a big thing to why they were able to pull out 2 of the 3 here against the Brewers. But any final thoughts in general on, this series against the Brewers before we got out of here? Anything that, you wanted to touch on one more time, or anything that you didn't get a chance to touch on earlier that you had pop in your mind right now and whatnot?
Yeah, I think today was a good sign for this offense. They were just scoring 4 straight innings, which they haven't done, I believe, in most of the season, especially these last couple of weeks. They haven't scored in really consecutive innings in a long time. So having the ability to score in 4 consecutive innings just lengthened the outing for the Brewers, made them have to use more pitchers, and that's what I want to see going forward. Like, not bunch everything up in one inning where they scored 5 or 6 in one inning. Like, be able to slowly bleed teams to death and put up 1 or 2 runs for a couple innings in a row, and suddenly you're starting to win a lot more games.
Yeah, I fully agree. Brandon, what about you? Anything final thoughts that popped in your head the last minute? Anything that you wanted to touch on again, or anything that you didn't get a chance to touch on earlier about this Brewers series?
I just hope that Gino and Gurriel start to play a little bit better, because like those two, like what sucks is they're back to back too. Like they are back to back, and they're just struggling right now. So it would be great if they both could start to hit well, but I'll take one of them. If one of them wants to start hitting, I'm like, that's progress.
Fully agree. Yeah, if there's any series to do it, a get right series, maybe go down to Miami and see at least 1 or 2 of them turn things around. That'd be definitely very clutch, especially going into that big series against the Cubs in Chicago this upcoming weekend. But again, we appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning on in here for another fun edition of D-Backs Dispatch. Dank, I know you joined us here a little bit later, but we appreciate you getting to have some lunch break action with us. Hopefully you can re-listen to the show. If there's anything that you want to get your thoughts on, go to the comment section. Same with the rest of you guys. Go to the comment section and let us know your thoughts on all that, because we always like to hear your guys' input.
Oh, one final thing. So at the game on Saturday, I met one of our lovely supporters, Duncan. He has offered 2 tickets to the Wednesday, April 24th game against the Tampa Bay Rays. So we're going to be doing a giveaway for that. So go ahead and we'll have a post on Twitter. So just go ahead and make sure to check it out. Make sure you follow, like, and retweet. That way you can be entered in the giveaway.
Yeah, so we wanted to get you guys a heads up now, because I know especially I believe it's a Wednesday day game. Or no, it should be a night game. They're Monday off, yeah, so it should be a night game. So give you guys a chance if you need to, call in sick for work a little bit, do a little half day, or just make sure you guys have you don't have plans and you can rearrange them. I want to give you guys a little heads up. So yeah, shout out Duncan. Appreciate you for giving us some tickets to give away. Up to you, my friend. And hopefully whoever wins it, you guys enjoy the game. But again, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok as well, especially Twitter. Gabe put out some better ones.
Sorry. It's Daniel. My bad.
Daniel, not Duncan. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think it's because maybe the Twitter account. Either way, Daniel, you're the MVP. We appreciate you, sir. And again, just like Daniel did, if you guys ever see us at a game and you guys want to hit us up, talk about the D-back, or just be like, hey, watch you guys' show, anything like that, always feel free. We love it. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Make sure you guys join the Discord. It is in the description below. It is free. You don't have to pay any money, and you get to join a community of D-backs fans like yourself that is ever growing. And there's a fun conversations to be had in there, not just about the D-backs in general, but especially the prospect channel that is always popping, especially with some minor league games going on. You guys can be a little bit more in tune with the down guys, and have your prospect knowledge grow a little bit, because I know I've been enjoying that as well. But also go over to azsnakepit.com. I know our man Jeff in here, he is a writer for them as well. And there's a ton of other great writers, great content, great things we had over on AZ Snake Pit. It's kind of like our Discord community. There's a great community over there, and there's tons of written content that I think there'll be a little bit of everything for each and every one of you guys. So again, we appreciate all of you guys for tuning on in here for a Sunday night stream. If you guys have not seen the newest Last of Us episode for the new season, go watch that. I love how they put it out on the final day of the Masters. Celebrate golf. No spoilers here, but again, appreciate all you guys tuning on in. You guys have a fantastic rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you as we review the Marlins, or as we recap the Marlins series for this week. Take it easy.
Under the lights, the game goes down. Desert heat, but we own this town. Brett and Gabe on the call, with Josh in the back, bringing it up.